Hello and good morning, everyone. Good to have you here today. Paul Tranny, going to dive into today's Adobe Masterclass, specifically a design masterclass, and I'm glad you guys are here. So feel free to say hello in chat. I got some fancy lights up. I'm ready to rock this. Should be a lot of fun because we're going to talk 3D and motion design. So that is the goal. And thank you so much, Michelle. I always love seeing the message that the audio and video are good. Let's put in a little background music just for kicks. All right. Hello, Biola. Austin Browning. Bruce Gonzalez is in the house. Oh, good. You just finished watching the Gradient stream, which is awesome. Good to hear. Yeah, so full of tips. We're going to dive into some Illustrator. So we're going to spend some time in Illustrator, and then we'll jump into some Substance 3D, as well as good old After Effects. So hello, Afroja. Hello. Cool. Yes. Good morning here on this fine Friday. I agree. It is a very fine Friday. So thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to show you what we're going to be working on. And maybe you saw it on my Instagrams or whatever. But this is basically what I'm going to be doing is working on some type. So there we go. Okay, so let's kind of start this from the top. All right, sorry, that camera was focusing. There we go, zipping down to the lower corner. We could see here I am in Illustrator, and I can quickly sort of get down to work. This is the quote I thought I'd go with, right? Make more mistakes, right? Just learn from them is the goal, but just don't be afraid to make mistakes, right? And learn from them. That's how you grow. If you're not making mistakes, you're kind of just doing the same old thing, you know? And I don't want you to deliberately make mistakes, but you know what? It's like, that's when the good stuff happens. All right. Ooh, Colby is getting Substance Painter. How fun. That's awesome. We'll use some of those materials here today. So thank you, Michelle. So yeah, you guys like the quote. Hopefully that's great, right? Make more mistakes. So this is kind of what I was working with, right? Essentially what I did is I just took, just so you have an idea, MAKE, this text I've been into, and I don't even know if it's the right font, but I used Climate Crisis, right? So that's the font that's being used right here. What's cool about it is I love this, and I tried to explain this the other day, but it's a variable font, variable width font, and you're adjusting really as many properties as are defined by the font creator. So here it's by year. So in 1980, this is probably what the snow or ice looked like, and then it slowly melts. So anyways, really fun font, but I really like just this fat font right here. I just like how big and fat it is. It's kind of awesome, right? Yeah, Bruce's is pretty cool, huh? So it's called Climate Crisis. There's a number of variable fonts out there. Do I have Chi in here? No. Okay, but yeah, there's a number of them out there. So feel free to check those out. So again, Climate Crisis. It's all about awareness, you know? Come on, let's be nice to the earth, huh? Not only us, but everyone, including corporations, if you're listening. Cheers. Today's coffee is honey almond. That is the coffee for today, honey almond. And just so you know as well, the coloring of this as we go in here, right? Kind of, I've already outlined everything. We see it like so. But then I used my other favorite script is random swatches fill. So this allows me to just scatter a bunch of colors everywhere. Yes, honey almond is pretty good. My favorite overall lately, I don't know, it varies so much. Depending on pretty much my favorite coffee is the last one I drank. So that's the short of it. So right in here with random swatches filled, we can go in and we can say, hey, you know, let's pick, say this one. Let's pick all the colors with some pop. This one, oh. Not that one. A bright green, a yellow. So I'm picking maybe these 4 colors. Let's grab this red as well. Okay, so I picked all those colors. Go to random swatches fill, which is a script. Just do a search for it, and then it scatters those colors everywhere. And that at least gives me a starting point, right? Because it's not going to get it perfect. You could do that a couple times, but then from there, I'll jump in. And, you know, I should use this gold instead. So it's a little easier to see. And yeah, that's how I would sort of set this up. So that's how this was created. Cool. Is there a banana in Illustrator? Wouldn't that be fun? The brand is Target's brand. It's Good and Gather. So it's Target coffee. That's funny. All right, so we could do a number of things. So make more mistakes. It's all about like making mistakes. We still want to make this legible. So it's like, how far can we push this and still keep it legible? Was the idea, right? I could select everything and I could try different effects. And maybe you would do this as well. Do you tweak it? Do you twist it? Do you do zigzag, right? We'll jump in with zigzag, right? You could play with these if you want to, right? We could smooth these out, take it down, right? And just kind of see what we get for just kind of like making it messy, right? You can see right in here for zigzag, this could be an option for what I'm going with, right? I'm not crazy about that. I want it to be more clean, so that's what I'm gonna do now. Make it more clean. It is fun, isn't it? Isn't life grand? Are you guys happy to be living in this day and age? We have running water. You know, we have in-house plumbing. That's great. That's my one criteria. If you ask me to travel in time, I'm like, okay, do they have indoor plumbing? Right, so we'll just kind of draw out some random rectangles going down like so. I could take all these and let's close this. Let's open up this. And join them all, right? So now they're just like one solid shape. And then I usually grab this in because we want to curve all this stuff. And let's change this color so we could see it easier. Let's change it to medium blue, selecting it. And now we can go in and we can see all these little control points, allowing us to kind of round the ends. So that's what I'm doing, rounding it, coming down here, rounding it. We're gonna make it look like it's dripping, right? Pretty fun, like so. So there we have that. That makes sense? All right, we have delivery. That is awesome. Isn't it kind of magical? It's like, hey, I would like cereal for breakfast, which I don't have, so I'm gonna have somebody go get it for me. Or I want Dunkin' Donuts coffee, which is also good. Have it sent to me, right? So that's the idea for all these lovely little splashes. Ooh, Bliss has a special breakfast salad from Panera. What's a breakfast salad like? That is curious. All right, so right in here, we can add some additional like drips. Take that down like so. And we could even grab this end and do something kind of like that. There we go. That's all we need. And dripping on down, okay? And so this is where this is at now. Right, so we've kind of done our design. I feel like adding a little bit more to it, if you don't mind. I'm not even sure if it's easy to read and all that good stuff, but that's kind of how this was created. Did I dabble back in graffiti back in the day? I did not. Because growing up, like, graffiti was like that type of art. Like, whoa, graffiti seemed bad. And I don't think my parents would let me get away with it. Even though it's clearly a form of art. My parents would be like, no, that's graffiti. You can't do graffiti. Sometimes when you outline characters, you're going to get all these points. Of course, you just want to jump in, go to path, and simplify. It'll do it automatically, so it gets rid of all the points that it needs to, because that little A is selected. Boom, we're done. I would just want to clean up all these points, right? And I don't want to do that for all of these, right? Because if I select Command Y, let's select everything. There's a lot of points in here. So before making it 3D or animating and all that stuff, just do a quick cleanup by doing a simplify. All right. Man, everybody's having a good breakfast. Got eggs and some eggs and cheese flop. What's a cheese flop? Did you just make up that? Is it your own invention? All I know is this honey almond coffee is amazing. Okay, so what else do we need to do in here? Do we need to add some more splats off to the side, right? Do we? I need help with it. I think I do, right? I think this needs some of this action, right? Again, I'll do this I'm trying to do this as fast as possible, because we need a couple more elements. So grab those, make these new elements. Remember, you do have to hit the direct selection tool, and then you get these control points to pull in like so. Okay, so jump in, pull that there, put that here, right? Move that over, right? We can give this even more of a splat. We don't want to make it too much like the other A, but we do still want to make sure this is legible as well. So let's just make sure this one has a little bit of variety. Kind of like that. Consolidate all of them using Pathfinder, selecting those points and going through and curving these out, right? Let's grab this one, for instance, right? So now we can control that. And can you believe we used to have to do this ourselves? Does anybody remember before actually having this control point, doing this like by hand? And do you realize like how easy it is? I just have like so much fun grabbing this little point and just like adjusting it accordingly, right? I just think we're just like, you know, I'm just really into it. That's all. Some more splats, and then we'll get moving. We'll push this to, we'll probably maybe make it 3D, and then we'll drop it into After Effects. All right. Oh yeah, oh good. I'm glad you like where I'm going with this. Again, it's organic, but it's all like a controlled sort of style, right? It's a stylized organic look. Is what we're going for, right? Take this, bop, bop. That's a little much. Just grab it, pull it out. Like that. So that'll be fun to animate, but the animating is going to take a lot of work. I'm going to be honest with you. Anything else? Maybe some drips down here. Let's do this fast. Hurry up, Paul. Hurry. Man, you guys demand to be entertained. All right. Oh, Evan Abrams, who is my After Effects hero. I think Evan's great. I think he's awesome. Evan Abrams is awesome with After Effects. I'm just an After Effects hack, right? But my bragging point with After Effects is how long I've been using it. Because I remember using it back when it was called Cosa After Effects in like '96. My very first job as a designer was making graphics for an interactive television network. So you actually played on TV. It was a separate channel, and you played using your phone. You'd hit 1, 2, or 3, so you'd play Jeopardy, and you'd answer Jeopardy using your telephone. So it was way ahead of its time, and I made like 99% of the graphics fresh out of college. I was like so lucky. So yeah, and I use After Effects for everything. So yeah, we have a long relationship, After Effects and myself. All right, so does that look good? Are we kind of going down the right path? Hopefully that's okay. Yeah, melting ice cream cones. That works. Some gooey splats. We do this all the time, all day long. There we go. Okay, so let's combine some of these elements, because this is gonna just make my life easier, by the way. I'm just gonna like kind of connect some of these they're gonna touch, right? We're gonna make them one shape, right? It's just gonna make everything easier as we get this into 3D applications, right? So that's the idea. We'll just kind of grab some of these. This point might get a little tricky, but yeah, let's try it. Let's grab this one, bring it down here like that. They're gonna be touching. In this case, we wanna make this drip even more consistent. So let's take this, we'll combine it, right? Direct selection tool, bam, bam, right? And just go ahead and smooth that out. Now we have that drip that we like, right? Cool. I desperately need to make this a little larger, I feel. Maybe I'll regret doing this, but I usually make things 1080 by 1080 or 1080 by 1350, which is the largest sort of Instagram size, and work on that size. It really doesn't matter so much in Illustrator, as you know. So, okay. All right, looks like something out of Animal Farm, which I have not read. The top E looks cool with the splat. Okay, good. This one looks really cool. This one's a little more rough. Okay, needs a little bit of work, but again, how much do you mess with this, and how can you, could you have a link between this graphic that I'm making now, like once I bring it into After Effects, could I have them sort of like linked somehow? And that's the big question. All right, group these, there we go. Do the same tip, whoop. There we go, like that. That looks pretty good. No, it doesn't. You guys got to tell me, like, it doesn't look good, Paul. We have a lasso tool. Do you know that? We have a lasso tool in good old Illustrator, allowing me to sort of select and pull these in, because this is a case where I really just want to grab these weird points that are at an angle, draw a circle around them, and do something like that, okay? Feel free, use that lasso tool. It's like, why should Photoshop have all the fun? I don't know. Still a little weird, but that's okay. Okay, so we're done with the design. Done. Boom. Let's make it 3D. Let's have some fun. Dua, how you doing? Alexandra, I see you over there as well. Tishepo from South Africa. Good to have you here, my friend. Andrea, that's Latson. Good to have you. Oh man, friends from Facebook. So cool. So do you guys like these splats? Do I create, should I have more of these? Is that the winning element for this design, right? Maybe it is, right? Because I could add some splats here. I could put some out here. Quite frankly, since I've already done this, and let's fix this one spot really fast. Again, if these are all one element, it's just gonna make my life easier. Shift C will give you the anchor point tool, allowing you to, manipulate these anchor points a little easier, just so you know. Yeah, this is looking rough, but that's okay. Forgive me. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Oh, the M splat is not joined as well. Oh, that one's so nice. Let's do this. Here's an even easier way, right? Because I really just wanted something like a little thinner. Let's go ahead and... that's probably what I should have done, because that's going to work out much better. I wanted just something like a little bit more controlled in this design, and then we'll curve that out like that. Oh, so much better. That's what I should have done. That's the type of drip I like, and yeah, I think we're fine for now. Okay, so let's bring this into 3D. Let's have some fun with it. By the way, do I have to actually bring this into 3D or anything like that? I'm going to duplicate that layer, and we're going to have our own 3D layer. Let's take all of this. We will, I don't think it's grouped. Let's take all this, and we will group it together. And now, you guys probably know where I'm going to go with this. 3D and materials, we're going to go ahead, and we're not even going to extrude and bevel it. We could... yeah, let's just do that initially. We'll take a look at what this looks like, right? It made it look 3D, so that's kind of cool, right? The AKE situation is kind of funky here. Do you agree? Maybe. So, yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. So right here we have sharp edges. Again, is that the best thing to do? Well, maybe not. We can go ahead and come in here, give it a slight bevel, right? And we'll go with round. So now we've rounded it out, and we'll take the depth down. Let's take it down to 10, right? So now we have sort of just a thinner bevel on this. And we can just kind of play with the height and the width, making this kind of like a little bit more bubbly. In fact, let's do front. So there we are. We have sort of our 3D look just by throwing a bevel on there, right? Which is not bad, right? That's okay. I kind of like it at an angle as well. We'll just kind of mix it up. Let's play with this. Isometric, right? We could even use these controls on the actual object. Grab this vertical one, and we can just kind of rotate it around like that. Grab this middle one on the Z-axis, right? And we can start to just kind of lean it into place that way. Let's grab this one again. Let's rotate it some more. See what's happening? So anyways, just showing you extrude and bevel. This actually isn't what I want to do. I want to take this like to the next level, because I'm not crazy about this bevel, because you know what? It looks like a bevel, right? Not crazy about it. Guess what? Go to properties. You just start all over. Let's just delete this. It's like any other effect, right? If I decide I maybe want to hold on to it later, drop it in your graphic styles. Drop that in your graphic styles. So now that is set in my graphic style, that 3D effect. But really, I just want to get rid of it, right? And we're going to do something else. We're going to go into 3D. Rather than doing an extrude, I want to do an inflate. So right in here, we'll click, take that, blow on it, inflating it, taking a drink of this lovely coffee. This segment brought to you by Good and Greater Target brand coffee, honey almond flavor. Oh, Bruce, thanks. I would have killed it with graffiti. So I went to art school, and there was an amazing graffiti artist that went to school with me. He's the one that killed it at graffiti. I'm like, you are amazing. But thank you. That's so nice of you to say. I don't know if that was really my style. I did 3D. I was the very first student to actually use the computer for the technical illustration class. Isn't that funny? Everybody was using rapidograph pens, right? Those are the really awesome pens to create technical illustrations, like putting together an IKEA desk or whatever. And I was like the first one to use Illustrator, the program. So I don't know. That's kind of cool. So right in here we can see the depth as well. So we have those a lot of those same controls, right? We'll give it more depth like so. Bubbling it up. right? And it looks just much better. We'll go into the lighting and adjust the lighting as well. So the rotation right here, we're rotating that light to get that where we want it. Might not be crazy about the amount of light, the intensity on there. Well, guess what? We kind of take that down because it does wash it out a little bit. We'll take that down a little bit like so, okay? We can even give color to the light. Let's go with a yellow just to see what happens here, right? So it's casting a yellow, you know. That just kind of like warms up all of it more than anything, okay? Makes it a little muddy, to be honest with you, so we'll go back to white. We don't want it muddy. We don't want to wash it out. We want to keep the intensity of that color for sure. Here's the fun part. You ready for this? We're going to jump in and we're going to turn on shadows. Click. Turn it on shadows. Ooh, extra long shadow. Look at that. Right. Well, that's the height and the rotation, right? So that's that long shadow. Let's take that height up. So it's going to be higher, so it's going to be above. It's like 12 noon, for instance. And just kind of have it shine down, say, right there. Let's throw some softness. That's going to look really good. But again, we'll just kind of offset it a little bit. Boop, like that. So we still kind of rotate this around. And then let's do a quick render just for fun. Intensity is going to should also control the intensity of that shadow as well. Okay. By the way, notice how the shadow is behind the object. If I wanted it to stand up, like the plane is sort of perpendicular, that's when I'd pick below object. Ooh, that's even really good. How's that even happening? And what is even happening? You know what? The problem is we don't see it because everything's set to front. Let's do off-axis front. There we are. So that's where you get the idea of what's the depth of it and everything, right? Look, that's how deep it is. Let's take that down. Ooh, and that might be part of our problem as well. So let's select this. As I've adjusted the angle, I didn't know the depth was so extreme, which was part of the problem, right? So let's select this. Let's turn, sometimes you'll have to turn off. I turned off some of these elements just because I don't have to worry about that stuff rendering, but let's take this down to 50. I had no idea that was so high. There we go. The depth is down to like 5. Oh good, I'm so glad I caught that. Or let's try 50. There we go. And this is what you do. Is just play with it. 20. There we go. 20 pixels is pretty darn good. Go back to our front. Go to lighting. Turn this shadows. The shadows are going to be, you're not even hardly going to notice them, right? Because I changed them so much. I didn't realize the bevel was so high. So this is going to be even better. I'm so glad I caught that. But at this point, let's just go ahead and render this, okay? So with this selected, we'll take the intensity down a little bit more. Right up here, right? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to turn on ray tracing. I was in real-time preview. We're going to ray trace it, low quality, and click render. It's going to go through and render that. This gives us a chance to jump out to good old something like Stager. All right, so let's switch to Substance 3D Stager. There's Painter. You could also use Adobe Dimension. So I should move this over because it goes Dimension and the Stager are very similar, right? Stager's kind of has more features. And it is part of that 3D bundle, but that's what I'm going to use. But it's pretty much the same principles apply. Ooh, got some hopping beats. I wish I heard them, man. Bruce, I don't hear what they are. I don't hear them at all. And I wish I did. I should put in my headphones. So we go over here. We're in Substance 3D Stager. Right, which gives you the ability to kind of jump in and use text. So here's my text. A lot of times you'll import or create things that are very large. Position everything within view. I love this button. You'll be hitting this one a lot. Click. Oh, now I can see everything. So we'll say, make more I'm just thinking about this. This is what I would do. I would just do make. I would take this and I'd start stylizing this one letter. Just like we had bevels in good old Illustrator, guess what? We now know how bevels work in here. So we can jump in, make this rounded like so, nice and smooth. We have the depth of 1 centimeter, right? That's for the bevel. Just taking a look. Right, and we can see it get deeper or more shallow. I'm gonna hit 0, right? And now we have that. Actually, we should be able to can we put bevels on both sides? That's my question. I want to bevel both sides. Maybe I can't. Either way, let's go back down to 1. We have that done. It's just using a basic material, just so you know, right in here with this base color. You can jump in. Ooh, geez. Undo that. Let's grab from our starter assets. We'll grab a material. This satin. We'll just drop some satin on there, right? So this is the easy way of doing things. Hello, Nasir from Pakistan. Ooh, that's the satin finish. Sometimes you really don't know what these are until you apply them. Like, ooh, gloss paint. That's actually what I want. Nice and glossy and looks like paint. So that's the idea. Cool. Using the 1, 2, and 3 keys, which works for other apps as well. So like if you're using C4D, it's the same keys. All right. Garth, what's up? Checking the time. I got 25 minutes. Yeah, okay, Alexander. Thank you, Alexander's here. He knows everything about Substance 3D Stager. And yeah, I really wish it had bevel on both sides, but it does not, darn it. And I wish it did. So again, that's under Object. You can obviously see what that's all about. We'll click back up here. And typically I'd iron out one word and then start stacking it. Once I have this kind of set up right, I'd start stacking and making more versions. But let's go to the text because I didn't pick a font. Really just have Arial Black. We want to go to our climate. Oh, why is it not coming up? Did I have the name wrong? Ooh, Antique Olive would be good. Right, so there's just big, fat, fun fonts. Right, like that. All right, so I'm gonna do this really fast. We have that done, right? Guess what? We can duplicate it, move this down, change it. Maybe we'll go all caps, I don't know. I'm making up some of this as I go along. We are designing together. So from here, make more mistakes. Let's duplicate that. Move that down. Let's take all 3 of these. There we go. By the way, notice how there's this ground plane, so it starts to disappear, right? You might not want that. So go to environment, and here's your environment. So you could throw a background back there. We could play with lights, different things, but we could turn off the ground plane if we want to. So we turned off the ground plane, and then right in here, we'll change this text. Done, done, done. Okay, so you guys know how this works. I could start to change the color as well, but I want to dive into our rendering because we've been messing with the render. We've been rendering out content. Wait for it. In Illustrator. All right. So this is only the beginning. Okay, cool. Let's jump back over here. Oh, there it is. Rendered out. We just did a low quality resolution or render. And now we have this lovely design created in Illustrator, by the way. So did I really need, let's see, it's Shift P? No. Oh, I turned it on. All right. And so this is what I want to do. Go into presentation mode. So that's what I was looking for. Presentation mode. All right. Cool. Maybe some letters lowercase with the caps. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Look at Rick H. It's like you, not that you work for HP or anything. That's just a happy coincidence. But yes, buy a ZBook mobile workstation, and you get 6 months of Substance 3D collection. That's awesome, right? So yes, this is very much like bubble text, but or cute balloons, as Umacorn says. You're exactly right. They are cute balloons, right? But this actually is not bad, right? Command Shift. I will take this, but as soon as I move this, let's just see. I'm going to take this. I'm going to move this down. Right? So it does do rendering as you start to manipulate this. So really this render up here, you're not going to do till you're ready. Right? So that's the idea. Okay, so it's I started to kind of jump in and re-render this stuff. So again, just turn that on the last minute and go with it. But we already did all of our designing in Illustrator. Everything starts in Illustrator, then we bring it into the other apps. So we'll give this a second. And here, welcome to 3D, where you're doing rendering. Okay, so let me just jump back into Stager because we made this. Okay, but there are a lot of elements in here that we could also use. So as I scroll down, I will grab, oh, here we go, splash, right? So we'll take this splash and we'll put it right here. So now we have this lovely splash that we can apply, some textures too, right? Or apply some materials too. As you can see, like so, take that up. Right? And now we can add some fun elements to this. So that's why I wanted to make these, you know, as clean as possible, because I know I'm going to add lots of crazy stuff to it, like this splash. And I love some of these objects. Oh, here's another splash. Oh, here's another splash. Okay, good. Here's a number of splashes. As I roll over, say I want this to kind of come out from the M. I put it on the front of the M. It recognizes that plane and then drops it right on. So again, I can make that smaller and make it kind of look like it's coming out of that M right there. Okay, so we could have that splash. Again, we will drop in our color. Show. And we will make it the same color as this yellow. So since or this gold, I'm gonna use this same gold. Remember, these are the colors that I was picking. So that's already set up for me. So I select it, I go down to my base color, click, select the gold, and there that is. One key thing, if you're doing any sort of design, you kind of don't want to mess with the first or last letter as much. So in this case, maybe I want to kind of manipulate this and put it within the kind of coming off the K, for instance. Trying to keep this legible, and that's going to be the biggest problem, is keeping this legible as I add all these splashes. Hey, Varun! Varun, it has been nice getting to know ya. I guess virtually, but I'm glad you've been hanging out. I feel like we've been hanging out. So it's been nice. Check out Varun's work. It has great stuff. This one is going to be our green. We'll go to the base color, shablamo. There's our green, and we'll move this into place and rotate it around. This isn't even the half of it, because there's more I want to show you. This is going to be so much fun. Move this over, right? You get the idea. We're making mistakes. You know, I'm not crazy about the fact that these are, I don't know. It's kind of, I need to play with this a lot. Just the position of everything. Like, it just needs a lot of work. But again, trying to make something cool and show you things at the same time. So that's what I'm dealing with. Sometimes you'll try to rotate objects. You might not be able to select them. You could always adjust these parameters in the transform under properties. Right, I'm grabbing the red and I'm trying to grab the blue. There we go. Grab that blue. Swing it around. Right, push it back. You get the idea. Okay, make more mistakes. We're getting places. Hey, Bliss, you've been sticking with dimension. Perfect, that's totally fine. Here's, you ready for this? This is what's impressive about Substance 3D Stager. Let's go grab another element. You'll notice all of these objects, not all of them, but you'll notice some of these objects have these little properties right here. So these are objects that can be controlled with additional settings, right? So these ones don't have it, but this one up here, this abstract shape does have additional controls. So I could take that, drop it in, okay? We'll shrink it down a lot. Here's our lovely spiral. In fact, I don't know, I should probably turn off a lot of this other stuff, but let's just kind of take a look and separate it out a little bit. We'll push that back there and take this shape. So this is exciting. We'll take this. I said it has additional controls. We can see the object, and here we have the substance. Say for, oh geez. Whoop. We can adjust the height. We can adjust the number of loops, right? So we could bring in more, or excuse me, the number of times it twists around, I should say. So give it more loops, right? Adjust the curves as well. Give the curve radius, so make them all thicker. So maybe we want less loops and then just like thicker as well, just adjusting the radius. And again, it's really cool what you can get just playing with all of these properties. They don't have to be perfect circles, right? I want the end scale. Ooh, random seed. Let's give it some randomness. Let's just make it. I want it to actually end where each one is smaller. Anyways, just play with all these settings because each object has its own sort of separate controls, just so you know. So again, I would manipulate that accordingly, rotate it around, move it up, have it come from inside of there, like that. I don't know. Doing this all according to plan. Drop on our color and rotating this around. Yeah, kind of looks more like tubes. That's why I'm not a fan of it. I was actually hoping that it would have maybe it does. Oh, sorry, I was in material. I was playing with material. So, all right, you get the idea. But hey, that's what we're doing. We're making mistakes. All right, looks like a bunch of Twizzlers. Look at these crazy Twizzlers. We're losing this word. That's okay. Cool? Cool. Okay, so did that. Let's save this file. You guys now understand what you could do in Substance Stager. let's do this really fast. Let's take this. We'll open up this separate file. Give me a second. File. Open. This one. And let's switch over because we made this. We exported this out, right? Well, guess what? We could take this. Since this is 3D, we could take this. Looks like let's just delete that. Take this object, drop it into your asset export panel right here. Because we did this work of making all this 3D. Well, now let's take it and you can see right down here, you know, rather than exporting it out as a ping file, you'll notice right in here we can export it out as an OBJ. So 3D file. It's not going to bring the textures with it, but it will export out the 3D file. We'll click export. Export it to our desktop, right? And now we have our bubble text in, yeah. Okay, so I think Alexander's dropping some knowledge. Oh yeah, so Varun, I guess I'm answering your question. Haha, we had it planned, didn't we? So then you could just bring it in and I'll turn this one off. This is one I've already imported, but that's all you do is you just import it like so. File, import, 3D model, boom, there it is, right? Just like I'm doing right now. Gosh, I'm always so aspirational with my projects. Here's the OBJ, by the way, right? We'll even preview it on the desktop, right? Let's just open it up. There it is. You get the idea. Loading it up. Wait for it. 90. Ba-bam. Ba-ba. Ba-ba. And then turn off the ground plane. So there we are. Here it is, right? From there, I can throw some, say, glass on it if I want to make this look like water or whatever, right? Or again, I was dealing with the other colors. But from there, we can go ahead and render it. Let's turn on ray tracing. And this one is more looks like water. I don't know. It's okay. I'm like, hey, water isn't permanent enough. Let's go back to our red color and drop that in. And yeah, you get the idea. Cool. Cool. Let's move on, because I also have After Effects open. The nice thing is, if you're working in Illustrator, right, all of our design work is done, right? This already looks pretty good. Let's go back to sort of this flat version, which again looks pretty good. I feel like I need to swap this. I need to do that. I feel like this is going to look a little bit better. Hopefully that makes more sense. I don't know. So E is kind of hanging out there. The E needs a little more pizzazz. But let's take this. I could just save this out as an Illustrator file. If you guys know me, I use this thing called Overlord, which is awfully nice. We'll go to Overlord. This will take this off. Everything in here, by the way, and I should name them. Check this out. Caps lock M. This is an I. E. S. Because I want to animate each one separately. Am I going to get it done today? No. And I'm going to run into a couple of M's and a couple of E's. So I got to say E2 so they're not the same. So I can keep track of them. Guys got it? S2. M3. K2. A2. Cool. So I just labeled all those like so. Let's zoom back out. We have everything selected. We'll just go ahead and push that selection to After Effects. It pushes it to After Effects, and here's everything. Nice and neat, ready to go. And here's all my lovely layers. All right. cool. Colors are making you hungry. They are like little candies, right? Which is fun. So we can kind of do some pseudo 3D in here. Let's up the quality. Let's make sure this fits nice and neat. Maybe we'll change this size because I just want to make this easier for everybody to see. 1080, and there we are, right? Cool. The great thing about this, let's say for instance this letter, right? First off, this is vector. Like if we take a look at this layer right down here, this is all vector. Let's twirl this down. Oh, what's the contents? Oh, let's twirl that down. Oh, there's the E. Look at that. Oh, there's a path, right? That we can then control, right? So this is an actual path that we can manipulate. Going right up here, yeah, it's a path and we can adjust accordingly, right? But another thing I can do with Overlord is I could select this. We'll go to Window because that extension is also in After Effects. And again, this is not part of After Effects. This is a separate app. But right in here, we could push that selection to Illustrator. So I can click right there, pushes it here, and now I come in and then I can use Illustrator's magic to make those changes. What am I doing? H. There we go. All right, so just like you want to use Illustrator's features and then push it back. Actually, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to save this. I don't know if I actually need to push it back. We'll pull the selection. This is what I want to do. I'll just pull it back in. Come on, buddy. That connection should still be there, and it will pull it back in. That's how it's supposed to work. All right. Geez, I'm only down to my last couple minutes. So from here, we could play with this. We could play with a number of effects right in here. So whether we want to animate these coming out or doing a splat is what I'd think about doing. So again, I'm in After Effects. So at this point, I would just play with this. What you typically do is you might scrub in 3 seconds, select everything, right? This is I'm going to start doing this really fast. I would do this. I should maximize the panel. Hit P for position. I'll add a position. I want to scale it. So I'm scale, rotation, maybe opacity. Hit U, that's your Uber key. So I added these 3 keyframes for every single letter. So now all I need to do is scrub to the beginning and then start moving things around. Like maybe that'll go there, that'll go there, that'll go there, right? And I'll rotate them all and have some fun with them and manipulate them, right? And we'll kind of have it all come into place. I would do a cool splat mask on it. So I do like some sort of alpha mask. That would be awesome. That's what this needs. So it would come in really cool. So it's going to take a couple of things, but now with that set, we could see that kind of animating out. The M and the O don't move. Yeah, they're going to move now. I'll tell you what to do, right? So you can see everything kind of animates out, and that's just the beginning. Yeah. Oh, you like the Photoshop cushion? Oh man, we need to get more of these made. I desperately need to just get a lot made and just give them away. So we'll select all these. Here's a magic button. Click right on these keyframes, and what you want to do is you want to go to Keyframe Assistant and do Easy Ease. Make everything super smooth, right? It's going to ease out into their final resting spot, okay? And watch what happens. Might be kind of subtle. Slowly rests into place. Now, this is only the beginning. I'll do a continuation of this next week, so 3D and motion. Now that we kind of have the design established, we could really have some fun animating this and making more mistakes is the goal. Oh, I'm glad you love the animation. It's gonna get so, I feel like it's gonna get so much cooler. So like we are only at the like very beginning of all of this. Right, remember I set all those components so I can like adjust the rotation of some of these. So you literally jump down, since the rotation doesn't really matter as much. Like I just want to kind of randomize it. Oh, and by the way, we'll throw some jitter in there. We could do so many things. Oh, that'd be fun. We could do a wiggle. We could have all of them wiggle into place, but we still need to do our big splat. So that'll be fun. Rotating some of these. and you get the idea. Some of them are rotating into place. Cool. Yes. Oh yeah, by the way, yes, I am going to be doing, thank you, Rick. Thank you, Varun, Stony, and everyone. Again, I think we covered a lot. How many people, we've designed, we've created our 3D, right? Here's our 3D in there. And then we even created 3D in Stager. And then we did some animation. So hopefully this really kind of opens up your eyes to things. I'm going to be back doing our daily creative challenge in Photoshop, which is going to be really fun because we're going to be dealing with typography in Photoshop. So again, taking that to the next level. And then I have a Photoshop masterclass around compositing. So using color harmonization, which is one of my favorite new features in Photoshop. But you guys have been fantastic and envious of my fancy pillows. Oh, I got to do something about that. All right. Thank you so much, Bruce, Clarissa, Umacorn, Michelle, Afrosia, Andrea on Facebook as well. Appreciate everybody, and we'll see you guys in about an hour. Thank you.